Shalom, Shalom, and welcome to the White Roads Family Channel. My name is Symmanayah if you're tuning in for the first time. And this is a series called In Line, stuff lined up, messages lined up to hopefully, prayerfully stir your spirit, encourage you to know that the Almighty Father is sending stuff, information your way to strengthen you, to strengthen me, to strengthen the set-apart family of Yashar'al. In this segment of In Line, it is entitled Fire, Light, and Sight. We are in the age of end times. We are in an age and a season where we must begin to ask, what do things resemble? What are our expectations as we journey in this set-apart life? As we journey and await the physical return of Yahusha, Mashiach. Let's see what fire, light, and sight has to do with anything. It is important to always remember that all begins and ends with the Almighty Yahuah. See, so many times we move the bar, we move the mark. We forget that it begins with Yahuah and it ends with Yahuah, that He is the beginning and the end. It is through His manifest word that we are able to receive fire, light, sight, and everlasting life. I will present the case of why this is important and why we must stop handling it and taking these words for granted. Moreover, the functions these words produce. Keep in mind, my brothers and sisters, the need for knowing is important for growth and maturity. Let's go to Revelation 21:6 and 22:13. They both talk about and inform us that Yahuah is indeed the Aleph and the Tah. Revelation 21:6 and 22:13. And if you go to Proverbs 1:7, it says, the fear of Yahuah is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. Things begin with He who is the Aleph and the Tah. Read those verses. Let me read 22:13. I am the Aleph and the Tah, the beginning and the end, the first and last. All too often we forget that, my brothers and sisters. Let me take you to something else that I think is important. Deuteronomy 4:24 reads this, my brothers and sisters. For Yahuah, your Almighty One, is a consuming fire, a jealous all. He's a consuming fire. I'm going to talk about that more in a minute. Flip over to Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 3 and 4. It reads, and you shall know today that Yahuah, your Almighty One, is He who is passing over before you as a consuming fire. He does destroy them and subdue them before you. So you shall dispossess them and destroy them quickly, as Yahuah has said to you. Do not think in your heart after Yahuah, your Almighty One, has driven them out before you, saying, because of my righteousness, Yahuah has brought me in to possess this land. But it is because of the wrong of these nations that Yahuah is driving them out from before you. You see, the flesh war against the spirit. So we stumble, we fall, but the way they was mistreating His children, He came before us and demonstrated that He can be as a consuming fire and destroying our enemies. There's the literal, which is talking about the Egyptians fleeing after Yashar'al and people, nations that want to do harm. And there's the spiritual, regarding anyone that is seeking to harm and fight against the chosen children of Yahuah. This consists of both those who are commonly known as Hebrews, and Gentiles, which means other nations, who are grafted together as one under the banner of Yashar'al. Come with me to Hebrews 11:28-29. For I want to read these before you, O Yashar'al. Hebrews 12:28-29 says, Therefore, receiving an unshakable reign, let us hold to the favor through which we serve the Almighty One, pleasing with reverence and awe. For indeed our Almighty One is a consuming fire. Let us keep these words in mind always, my brothers and sisters. We will know what that means. We will recognize how when we rise up and set apartness, when we present the things that are truthful and set apart, and when they are examined thoroughly and confirmed to be truthful and set apart, they will be as a consuming fire and consume the wicked, the errors, the mistakes. They will cleanse us by the power and might of He who is a consuming fire. Let me unpack the word consuming, my brothers and sisters, that we may truly understand what occurs in the presence of the Almighty Father Yahuah through His word sent in the name of Yahusha. Let us get into it. You see, my brothers and sisters, just a moment. To truly understand, I present these words, John 14:25-26, will aid in bringing some understanding. These words I have spoken to you while with you. But the Helper, the set-apart Spirit, whom the Father shall send in my name, He shall teach you all and remind you of all that I've said to you. He was speaking to His taught ones about the literal, and He was speaking to all who follow Him. You see, when we get beyond the literal, we can discern the spiritual message that is meant for all those who are drawn by the Almighty Father. It is the Spirit of Yahuah, sent in Yahusha's name, that teaches us. This can occur directly with the Spirit working in us, with us, and through us, or through a brother or a sister. Now let's look at consuming. Let's examine the word consume. One definition is to use fuel, energy, time, or product, especially in large amounts. And if you're looking at the slide, you'll see I have time underlined. Why? Because to use time, He who controls time uses time. Who controls time? It is the Almighty One Yahuah who controls time. All too often, we do not seek to discern the fullness of words presented to us. This occurs based on the degree in which we are hunger, the degree in which we hunger or thirst for set-apart wisdom. For so many times, we cut off things. We move the bar, unaware of the whole story, the whole matter, or the parts that are essential to make things whole. I want to now take you to words regarding light. While I present these words regarding light, it is important to remember it all began with the Almighty Yahuah. There are those among us who easily forget that the Almighty Yahuah is the beginning. They say, oh, I know that. Let me share with you a passage, my brothers and sisters. I want to read Genesis chapter 1. I want to start out by reading Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 10. It reads, in the beginning, see it starting out, the Almighty One, it says Elohim in this version, created the heavens and the earth. And the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of the Almighty One was moving on the face of the waters. And the Almighty One said, let light come to be. and light came to be. Now keep in mind, he is light. And then he made lesser lights for us to see, but not to turn our heads and forget that he is light and he is the beginning. He is the Aleph and the Tah. And the Almighty One saw the light that it was good, and the Almighty One separated the light from darkness. And the Almighty One called the light day, and darkness he called night. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning one day. Notice it is the Almighty One. So it's starting with light. Then he brought the greater light. Then there was evening. Then he brought light, the greater light, not greater than him, but the sunlight. You measure a day from morning to morning. It started with light, and it began with light. Many people forget that the Almighty One who is light was working, and he rested. Search the scriptures and you'll see that he rested on the Shabbat, on the seventh day that he created. And if he is light and he rested, he was light. And then when the next day came, he worked and he worked and he worked. Seventh day, he was light. He rested. And we should be and will discern that we are to be as him and recognize. So many people take it when it said there came to be evening, it came to be morning one day, and they forget that Yahuwah started it. That he created the sun, the moon, and the stars. He started it. It says here, then the Almighty One made and the Almighty said, let an expanse come to be in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And the Almighty One made the expanse and separated the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse. My brothers and sisters, we tend to think that we are under water and it's water under us, and we use that to not recognize the structure of this planet. But in due season, those who can discern physics, science, physics being motion in action, science, and be able to measure geography will understand how the earth is indeed a planet. But I'm not here to argue or debate, but I will say he that is a consuming fire will make true what he has created. It said, and it came to be so, and the Almighty One said, let the water under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it came to be so. And the Almighty One called the dry land earth, and the collection of the waters he called the seas. And the Almighty One saw that it was good. Measuring a day is important. It is through the consuming fire of Yahuwah, who is light, that sight will come. We will recognize the importance of seeing. Let me continue. Verses 11 through 19 reads, and the Almighty One said, let the earth bring forth grass, the plant that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth. And it came to be so. And the earth brought forth grass, plants, yields seeds according to its kind. And the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And the Almighty One saw that it was good. And there came to be evening, there came to be morning the third day. Again, remember, this is Yahusha. This is Yahuwah working. This was before the manifestation of his word came to us in Yahusha's name. So this is when the Spirit of Yahuwah was working, and he was light. It came to be evening, it came to be morning, the third day. And the Almighty One said, let lights come to be in the expanse and in the heavens, and separate the day from the night. And let them be for signs and appointed times, and for days and years. He said, let lights separate the day from the night. Lights. And let them be for lights, the expanse of the heavens, to give light on the earth. And it came to be so. And the Almighty One made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. And the Almighty One set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, and to rule over day and over night, and to separate the light from darkness. And the Almighty One saw that it was good, and there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, the fourth day. But let's remember who's doing this. It is He who is a consuming fire. It is He who is light. It is He who is the beginning and the end. One of the reasons why Shabbat has been miscalculated and misunderstood in terms of measuring a day is the way we have been taught. And then there is that scripture that says a little leaven leavens the whole lump. So someone strong-willed and strong-minded got people to think that a day is measured as it starts to get dark, till it starts to get dark the next cycle. And they were strong-willed and influential and have led millions of brothers and sisters to think Shabbat starts, that light comes from darkness. Yahuah is the beginning and the end. He is light. It starts with light. It ends with light, as I read to you. The way we're taught and conditioned, if we cut off passages of scripture, if we just look at evening, morning, then a day, and forget who created that, and forget the origins of evening and morning, then sure enough, we will hold on to misconceived teachings, erroneous practices. What I just presented is important, especially for honoring Shabbat. We will grow to know the truth about when a day begins and ends. And yes, that is important. And it falls in line with fire, light, and sight, because this is what it's going to take to bring correction. The magnification of He that is a consuming fire. The increased brilliance of His light to give us sight to what is right. End times are here, and there will be movement. Let me move towards Shabbat. Exodus 20, verse 8 through 11 says, remember the Shabbat day to set it apart. 6 days you labor and shall do all your work. But the 7th day is Shabbat of Yahuah, your Almighty One. You do not do any work. You, nor your sons, nor your daughters, nor your male servants, nor your female servants, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahuah made the heavens and earth. Yahuah, who is light, the sea and all that is in it, and rested the 7th day. He that is light rested. Therefore Yahuah blessed the Shabbat day and set it apart. Stay with me. I will make the connection to this topic, to why I brought up Shabbat. You see, as end times ramp up, as the final Exodus, as we anticipate the 144,000 and great multitude, Yashar'al, that requires movement, work, and gathering together. Again, end times are here. We will witness a need to function in unity. Remember, there will be movement. If we ignore how to time Shabbat, many will get left behind. Consider these words. In Matthew chapter 24, verse 20, it's saying, pray that your flight does not take place in winter or on Shabbat. The timing of movement is going to be critical. Shabbat is critical. It is a component of coming together of a set-apart nation. The 144,000 and great multitude will, not maybe, but will come together in unity. Where will you be placed? Will you be among those coming closer to the Almighty Father? Or will you be among those left behind? Let us examine Matthew 12:25. My brothers and sisters, come with me there. Matthew 12:25. Just a moment, my brothers and sisters. I got my slides out of order. Okay. Forgive me and thank you for your patience. Matthew 12:25 saying, Yahusha knew their thoughts and said to them, every reign divided against itself is laid waste, and every city or household divided against itself shall not stand. Do you believe, O Yashar'al, that we will remain divided? That there will be confusion on when a day begins and ends? Among other things, such as the name of the Almighty Father, such as the name that he chose for us to identify his word being manifest before us. Do you believe that division will come and continue? How can you believe that and still believe that we will be gathered together? You see, the Almighty Father promised to gather his children from the four corners of the earth. He promised discipline to those whom he loved. So pray and watch, for emotions will run high as he that is a consuming fire. He that brings the light and sight is magnified in the days ahead, now and in the days ahead. Come with me to Luke 12:49-53. It says, I came to send fire on the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. But I have an immersion to be immersed with, and how distressed I am until it is accomplished. Do you think that I came to give peace on earth? I say to you, no, but rather division. For from now on 5 in one household shall be divided, 3 against 2, 2 against 3. Father shall be divided against son, son against father, mother against daughters, daughters against mother, mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. My brothers and sisters, there is a righteous division where we will see wicked separations. And it is critical to discern the difference between the difference in division There's a righteous division where we will see wicked separations. In other words, righteous divisions will cause the wicked to be purged from us or us to come away. It is critical to discern the difference in division of someone just causing disruption and confusion in the body. Notice how Luke 12:49 used the word fire, where he said, I came to send fire. Let's continue so that we may grow to appreciate fire, light, and sight. Yashar'al, rise up, my brothers and sisters. End times are real. Actions are expected. Consider John 1:1-5 says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Almighty One. And the Word was the Almighty One. He was in the beginning with the Almighty One. All came to be through him, and without him not even one came to be that came to be. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in darkness, and the darkness have not overcome it. The light, my brothers and sisters. Take these words seriously. There's the literal light and there's the spiritual light. I want you to remember, my brothers and sisters, something that is in 2 Corinthians. Second Corinthians, excuse me for the pause, my brothers and sisters. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 4-6 read, in such trust we have towards the Almighty One through the Messiah. Not that we are competent in ourselves and to reckon any matter as from ourselves, But our competence is from the Almighty One, who also made us competent as servants of a renewed covenant, not of the letter, but the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. We struggle because many of us think by just showing the scripts, by just talking about pay attention to the context or precept upon precept, that's all it takes. But we must understand that it is the Spirit that makes alive what we read. You see, the context and the precepts we can read. And if we read in part, we'll say you're not supposed to judge, not realizing that the Spirit of the Almighty Father that is in us can guide us to judge. There's a time and season for all things. My brothers and sisters, we must learn to discern the life in the scriptures. Because if we just lean on the black and white and just the text, we'll miss out on the fullness of what is right. Our own comprehension is shaped by how we were educated, whether traditionally or non-traditionally. It is important for us to know what true discernment means and how the Spirit of Yahuah will direct our footsteps. True discernment is when the Spirit of Yahuah reveals and make known. To reach unity, we must come out of darkness, move away from our own competence, and discern the wisdom of the Almighty Father Yahuah. You can do it. I believe in you. More so, I believe in the Almighty Father Yahuah that is in you, my brother, my sister, those who are set apart by his power, his might, his orders. Let us come away from our own competence and discern the wisdom that the Almighty Father is unleashing before us to succeed in these final responsibilities that he has given us. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, come with me to John 11:9. John 11:9. It said, Yahusha answered, are there not 12 hours in the day? If anyone walks in the day, he does not stumble, because he sees the light of this world. The light. Notice how he equates day, and he talks about light and how it stops us from stumbling, literally and spiritually. 1 John 4:4, come with me there. 1 John chapter 4, verse 4 says, you are of the Almighty One, little children, and have overcome them, because he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. Know that. Know that when we stumble, we are renewed by his discipline. When we repent and seek forgiveness, we are renewed, my brothers and sisters. Know the power of fire, light, and sight. Let me read Proverbs 4:19. It says, the way of the wrong is like darkness. They do not know at what they stumble. By understanding how Abba Yahuah is tongue-tied. By understanding how Abba Yahuah is a consuming fire and that he is the light, we are able to receive sight. End times require much from us. It is my position that we will discover the power of the words fire, light, and sight like never before. Phenomenal things are ahead. The importance of these words must be recognized. Keep in mind what is written in the scriptures that I'm about to read. Come with me. James chapter 3, verse 2. It reads, for we all stumble in many matters. If anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect man, able to bridle the entire body. That's someone walking filled with the Spirit, walking in total obedience. And they may be a perfect man for the moment, but know that the flesh war against the Spirit, and we will stumble. See, when it says he is a perfect man, it's not saying he's a perfect man every second, every minute, because it says we all stumble. It's how we respond, how we act, that define us as children of the Almighty Father. Remember, Revelation 3:19 says, "Many as I love, I reprove and discipline. So be ardent and repent." Please be advised, great corrections are coming that will require knowledge, that will require knowing the value of fire, light, and sight, and the need to walk in wisdom. Let us continue, my brothers and sisters, as I gradually come to an end. When we discover who walk in obedience to the living words of Abba Yahuah, we will grow to know much from one another. When we see individuals walking in obedience, walking filled with the Spirit, praying without ceasing, speaking and listening to the voice of the Almighty Father, when we learn to listen and hear what they have to say, we will learn much. For they will be demonstrating attributes that bring us closer together. Great corrections are coming for our perfection, my brothers and sisters. For our perfection in worship and obedience to Abba Yahuah, through his word sent in Yahusha's name. We cannot stop what is promised. My brothers and sisters, begin having discussions on the importance of knowing what these words, fire, light, and sight, represent. Ask a brother or sister, what do these words mean to you? Do they bring encouragement and expectation of a refined, a renewed, set-apart nation? See, remember, there will be 144,000 and a great multitude. Prepare to rise up, O set-apart family, and witness the promises of the Almighty Father, to witness his words come alive with proof and evidence. Soon and very soon, my brothers and sisters, we will witness his actions. Prepare to witness what it takes to bring unity for the set-apart nation of Yashar'al. We talk about it. Many will tell you they don't know what it takes. But look at the scriptures. For when the bodies became physically weak of the children of Yashar'al, then we yielded to the spirit of Yahuah more intensely and became strong. Shalum even said, when he is weak, he became strong in the spirit. And it is the spirit that subdued these earthen vessels that we do that which is right. Prepare to see the fruit of fire, light, and sight work its way through us, one towards another and through its chosen leaders. It will prove to be times of heightened emotions as we watch Abba Yahuah's discipline. Embrace it, receive it, be renewed, become the new you. My brothers and sisters, I hope that there were some words I said that was encouraging to you. I pray that you are strengthened to identify and discern the Spirit of Yahuah working through us one towards another and through his chosen ones and his chosen leaders. Pray and watch. Things are beginning to come together, more than what you may realize. My prayer is that we grow stronger in discerning the voice of the Spirit of Yahuah that comes in Yahusha's name. My prayer is that you are continually encouraged. Stay tuned. There's much more to come. If I said anything that could be of encouragement to you, consider subscribing, like, share. Let's use this algorithm that YouTube has presented to get the word out. Some people might discover this channel. In the other channel I have called Symmanayah, there's a link on this channel's page, White Roads family, to Symmanayah, as is a link from Symmanayah to White Roads. In most cases, over 90% of the content is differ on both channels. So don't assume that what is on this channel is exactly on the other channel or vice versa. But let's utilize these algorithms, my brothers and sisters. Let's see what the Almighty Father has given us through these messages. Not just from me, it could be from others. Not it could be, it is. Truth and set apartness flows. And we who have been entrusted to hear, to listen, to receive something that strengthens us, should it not be shared with other brothers and sisters. Enough said on that. I depart with these words to you, my brothers and sisters. Go in peace and encouragement. Shalom. Shalom, my family.